Ohio Republican Congressman Mike Turner serves as chairman of the House Intelligence Committee and joins me now. Mr. Chairman, I'm going to clear my throat. Well,
it's great to see you again.
Your reaction. It's great to see you. I don't think I've seen you in person
Munich.
Since Munich in February. So it's lovely that you could come today, and you've got this big hearing coming up. I want to ask you about the Durham investigation and what you're hoping to get out of him. And I know it's a closed hearing, but talk to me first about Hunter Biden.
Right.
And from what we know.
Sure. Well, one thing I would say in comments to your prior commentators, this is not a victory for Hunter Biden. I mean, Hunter Biden will, at the end of the day, be a convicted felon. And that's certainly not a victory. And there certainly are aspects of this that everybody in their gut understands is a sweetheart deal. And one is they talk about this being a pre-trial diversion agreement. But this isn't pre-trial. This was pre-charges. I mean, they're filing the charges and filing the agreement. This was all one big giant package. It wasn't. He was not put through charges and then being dragged into court, and the circus of being into court. He was put. It was all collapsed into one. This was obviously packaged because of the uniqueness of Hunter Biden being President Biden's son, and certainly with that he got preferential treatment.
Going to the Durham case, which has been controversial because he did not produce the convictions and the results that we had thought he might in this very lengthy and expensive investigation. What are you trying to find out from John Durham in this hearing today?
Excellent. So, as you know, the special counsel Mueller, in his investigation, in his report, indicated that there was nothing to, there was unfounded accusations that there was collusion between Russia and Donald Trump in the election in 2016. Durham confirms that, but Durham's task was different than Mueller. Mueller was looking at Donald Trump himself. Mueller was looking at the FBI, and he found wrongdoing in the FBI. He found what he said was political bias.
And he also found suspicious relationships with Russia, but he deferred to others, saying that it was not his role.
All of which we knew before, but none of which went to the issue of, he said they were uncorroborated, they were untrue, they remained uncorroborated. There was no evidence before the FBI, or certainly even now, no evidence of the collusion. But what he found in the wrongdoing that was in the FBI, that's what our hearing is really about, because no one was held to account. You have a number of things that were done, including misrepresentations directly to the FISA court.
This is the judge, the special court that decides to grant surveillance abilities, so that they acted improperly.
Right, so American citizens had surveillance they should not have.
Mr. Durham have brought charges if he found the improper
Well, and
behavior?
that's one of the things that we're going to address with him today is it that there's not sufficient laws, or is it not sufficient facts? If it's not sufficient laws, well, that's our job, and that's what we need to do, and we need to fix those.
Let me ask you about the classified documents, because you've read the indictment, which is very graphic in the narrative, and I wanted to play a little bit more sound from Bret Baier's interview on Fox last night.
Why not just hand them over then?
Because I had boxes. I want to go through the boxes and get all my personal things out. I don't want to hand that over to NARA yet. And I was very busy, as you've sort of seen.
Yeah, but according to the indictment, you then tell this aide to move to other locations after telling your lawyers to say you'd fully complied with the subpoena when you hadn't.
But before I send boxes over, I have to take all of my things out. These boxes were interspersed with all sorts of things.
Mr. Chairman, you deal with classified documents every day. You're part of the Gang of Eight. You're the chairman. You see everything. You've seen these pictures: the bathroom, the shower, the storeroom. And under NARA, the former president was supposed to finish the sorting process before he left office, not just have things thrown in a box with the golf shirts. So, I mean, his lawyers could tell him that he's not helping himself with these totally admissible comments.
Right.
And this was an excellent interview, my colleague, Bret Baier, I would say.
Yeah, so I'm a lawyer. My first thought was, but he should stop talking. But the other aspect is of this, and we all know that the document should not have been there. But our committee interviewed the archivists, and they said that up until the point that the first tranche of documents were surrendered, that they didn't even know he had classified documents.
And he's not charged with any of those. None of the counts involved anything prior to the subpoena and the search.
But they went further, and they said that every administration since Reagan has delivered them boxes where classified classified documents and non-classified documents were commingled. So clearly we have a problem in the disposition of administrations. We're looking at the laws there and what needs to be done, because these types of documents should not be being removed. They should be in secure places.
And I want to also ask you about China. Reaction to Secretary Blinken's trip, they did not restore military-to-military communications, but they seem to at least get back to talking, and the foreign minister is going to come here. We don't know what's next. And both sides, including President Xi, said that the world needs these two superpowers to work with each other.
Right. I'm very concerned with the administration's tone toward China because it's so conciliatory. You and I last time talked about the balloon traversing across the continental United States, and even now the president's making statements that are excusing the behavior on the part of China. If we're ever going to hold them account, if we're ever going to restore an equal dialogue, we at least have to be able to identify what's bad and inappropriate
Have you had an assessment
behavior.
yet of what the Chinese might have obtained in intelligence from that balloon?
Yeah, I really can't talk about the status of that, but as you know, it is ongoing about the exploitation of what we've taken.
Are you satisfied with the status as to the progress?
I think we're getting really good answers. The question, though, goes to how do we make certain that when China opens police stations in the United States, has a spy balloon that goes across our country, is negotiating to put a base right off of our shore with Cuba, where before we had a Soviet Union problem with Cuba, that you really need to be able to call them out and to be able to put those issues on the table.
Let me nail down what's happening in Cuba, because they've been there for a while. But it's my information that they are negotiating for an expansion.
That's what you reported, yes.
And tell me what you can say about that. Are we actually going to see a military base, not just a listening post in Cuba?
Right. Well, as you know, I really can't go into the details of what our committee has done. Right. And so I'm speaking of what you're reporting.
And what the Wall Street Journal
those are things that still this administration is not being as aggressive with China as they need to be in calling them out and really saying this is not permissible. This is not behavior that the United States is going to allow for normal relations to occur.